All right, you're asking for it, so here it is. Listen to this.
I want you fucking laughing at. We partners pod, kid. You understand? We in here drinking, singing, swinging, all that shit, dog. We sweating, getting wet, and all that.
All right, welcome to the 187th episode of the Drinking Partners Podcast. Per my co-host request, this is our Snoop Dogg episode, 187. Don't it, the jazz. But not because he's an athlete, because obviously Snoop Dogg's not an athlete, but because
he did wear the Penguins jersey.
He did wear the Penguins jersey in the video
that brought Pittsburgh to life. Man.
There you go. And he's an avid Steelers fan, and he just visited the Cleveland Browns at their practice. Although we haven't won since he did that. So
that's because he's a Steelers fan, low key, and he dropped some of that Snoop Dogg voodoo on you. Yeah.
All right. Well, then this is no longer
some of that. What is it? Snoop Lion. That's that Snoop Lion voodoo.
And that was so forgettable. That was such a forgettable time in his life. He was wearing the Rasta hats with the dreads. It was such a forgettable time.
Came through with some of that island voodoo.
Shout out to Snoop because he diversified his portfolio, and that's what we trying to do. Yeah. But I had to take the Snoop Dogg episode off the table since they said he dropped that gin and juice on us. This is our Dwight Clark episode because he's a Hall of Famer, and he's best known for the catch at the back of the end zone when he beat the Dallas Cowboys, and we are best known for Fresh Fest, a Hall of Fame event. I'm happy your host in tandem, Ed Bailey. I'm joined as always with my co-host, Dave Bracey. Say what up to the people.
What's good with you people? We are the Drinking Partners, and if you're looking for us, you can find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, Google Play, and Spotify under Drinking Partners. And you can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnersPod. 187 episodes. We've been killing it, man. I mean, murder was the case, yo. And we've been asking y'all.
187 on
we will continue to ask y'all.
Yeah.
Please,
and you don't stop.
Hop on iTunes, rate and review. Hey, man, hop on Facebook, rate and review, man. That's how we know we're doing well. That's how we let others know that we're doing well. And that's how we continue to do well, man. So please, hop on iTunes, hop on Facebook, rate and review.
Hey, you love us. You continue when you see us in public. You tell us you love us. Now, at the click of a button, please tell the internet. Please tell the world. And as always, 187 episodes in. Yeah. And you don't stop. We will continue to ask and tell you that in lieu of rates and reviews, we do accept shots at Hennessy.
Hell yeah.
Shout out to Car Guy DJ and the Conways for starting a trend, being so supportive just like all of our fans. And we do have an ask of our fans now. We have an opportunity of sorts. So what we need to do is if you're listening to this episode, hit us up and let us know some of our favorite catchphrases that you hear on the cast. Something that you heard that you really like that's really indicative of Drinking Partners, what we are and what we try to do. Yamin has already been eliminated, and we have discovered that we don't know how to spell Dave's sound effects. So both of those are off the table. But if you can't come up with an idea, send us some Hennessy.
Truth, man. And if you're looking for us, man, to catch us, because we got the podcast, that's all dope or whatever. Sponsored by Mindful Brewing, as always. They also sponsor our live shows, man. That's how we keep the lights on out here, And if you're looking for us, we super excited to bring in Felonious Monk from out of Chicago.
That's big, man.
Down at Arcade Comedy,
that's
man.
Huge.
Been following him for a while, man, like on Twitter and whatnot. Kind of watched like his growth. Went from like a couple thousand to like now he's got the check mark.
The glow up is real.
Yeah, he's got the check mark.
You booked
couple
him credits
Beard,
on. Though. Let's be honest. You booked him because of Beard to make me self-conscious about my facial hair. Or
we always been kind of beard brothers. Yeah,
I'm just cut out of this.
He's got a couple credits. On Comedy Central and whatnot. You've seen him on the Daily Show and whatnot. And he's gonna be coming in November 17th.
To get the DP stamp. You're getting the DP stamp. Because that's Comedy Central's cool, but the DP stamp, that's the one that's gonna elevate you. And then that next weekend, because every last Saturday of the month, November 24th, we'll be at Compton Theater. We got the hometown hero Derek Knopfschneider headlining. So that'll be. We got two in November. We got two dope events coming as always.
We gotta. These are the last two. These are the last two of the year, man. Because we usually take December off. We got families and shit, so we gotta spend
Y'all
time.
Can't tell. Y'all can't tell we got families.
We got families. So we do that to December. We kind of cool down and then prepare for 2019. So these are our last two shows. So we wanted to make sure that it was extra packed, extra special. Mike Sasson, Ty Mack, Joey Purse. We got Shannon Norman, like big heavy hitters for these.
And we ain't talking about size because you gotta throw that in because
I don't know.
Your choice of words.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Because Mike is a big dude. So is Shannon. They know.
Tom Mac ain't small.
Tom Mac ain't a little dude either.
So wait a minute. Is that why we booked the show? That why we booked it the way we did? There's a method to our madness, but nah, man. We trying to bring two great events to end off the year, man. Bring your families out. I know Thanksgiving. You know, sometimes you're looking for something to do Saturday. Y'all done ate. You done got your fill. Uncle whoever, he done got drunk at dinner and fucked up the weekend. So just bring them out. Have a good time.
Yeah.
Man. It's BYOB and a sponsor. We stress the and
Mindful Brewing coming through, man. And like it was crazy because we did a show last night. It's so wild whenever we do these shows. Like people be walking in and I'll be walking around like, hey, you know there's free beer? And they're like, what? There's free beer here? And I'm like, how did you hear about this shit?
Like why are you here?
Yeah. Because I'm here for the beer.
I'm here for the beer. Like this is why I showed up. This is why I clocked in to work today.
Yeah. Like we gonna be funny as shit. But I mean, I'm here for the beer. So, you know, like we wanna emphasize that. It's BYOB. If you don't like beer, bring your wines, bring your liquors and whatnot. That's all good. You know, if you like mead or your kombuchas and whatnot, and whatever you're into, you can bring that if you're not into the beer or whatever. But if you are into beer, you know, we got plenty of it, and it's tough because you know it's not samples. You know, it's a sizable drink that they pouring you. You know what I mean? They pouring you a couple of those. So, like I said, man, come through. Shout out to Mindful for always sponsoring the not only the podcast but those live events. And if you're looking for tickets, November 17th at Arcade Comedy Theater. That's arcadecomedytheater.com. And November 24th down at Comptra Theater. You can catch that at comtratheater.ticketleap.com.
All right. And with that, we will get into our episode. I feel underdressed for this episode because this is going to be one of positivity, and I look so bummy because I got shit going on in my life. The Ed got shit going on in his life, so I'm not going to be in any of the pictures of this podcast.
We in t-shirts and jeans out here, man. This is
I'm in less than t-shirt and jeans. That's the thing. Like when people come in t-shirt and jeans and you feel underdressed, that means you really didn't give a fuck when you put that shit on. Like you
putting the house together. We get it.
I know, man.
Man, yeah, I don't envy. I do not envy your life, man.
Yeah, you fucking.
I'm on my way out of a house. You getting into one, so I'm excited. I'm excited for that.
I was excited till I had to buy a nail gun. We're gonna get to because I'm doing a whole lot of shit that I don't know how to do. One thing I do know how to do is get back to the people, and that's what our guests do in a very, very, very active way, a very impactful way. And
shit, I credit myself for being here because of this organization, man. It's crazy.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you would. Oh, shit. I didn't know this shit on. So this is great. So without further ado, is that the shit? Because I'm all. Yeah. All right. So we have Devon Taliaferro and Tom Baker of Big Brothers Big Sisters. Devon Taliaferro, the program associate. Tom Baker, the chief community affairs officer. Yeah, that's four names in that title. That's big shit. Say what up to the people.
Hello, people.
Hi, guys. And
hey.
Congratulations to you guys on being the best podcast in the city again this year, third year running.
Well, thank you.
Well, you know,
So we got the best nonprofit this year. We were with you guys at that event. And
congratulations.
we're just trying to 3 in a row would be nice for us too for Big Brothers Big Sisters. So we're trying to be like you.
How can this organization not be the best organization? Like how would someone supplant that?
I mean, Pittsburgh has a billion nonprofit organizations, so it is hard. Like so many people are doing really good work, but mentoring is definitely important for our young people. So
yeah, I mean Allegheny, like I worked in social service for years, so it's a very they call it a resource rich county, you know. So I mean we don't, you know, a lot of counties they have to rely on like government funds, things of nature or whatever. Whereas like, you know, in Allegheny County there are so many nonprofits that you can kind of, you know, more or less, you know, outsource some of the services to, as opposed to, you know, taking it on. And I think a lot of people in Allegheny County don't realize a lot of the opportunities that we have here, you know, as opposed to a lot of the other counties that are surrounding your Beavers, your Butlers, your even Washingtons and whatnot. So we are extremely lucky to have a Big Brothers and Big Sisters that are so like, I mean, so prolific. Like, I mean, it's like you guys are like everywhere. You're all over the city and events and like, you know what I mean?
We're trying to be. And because we saw you guys at the Best Of, we were at Fresh Fest. Devon had a great time.
Fresh Fest. Let me tell you.
Devon is living her best life, and you guys were part of that.
Yeah, Fresh Fest changed my life a little bit.
Yeah.
I've never been a beer drinker, but I went to Fresh Fest with arms open and tried as many of the beers as I could while still being professional and talking to people about mentoring. And it was wonderful. I think you guys did a tremendous job. And I definitely commend that work, because I also do event planning. So I know that it's not easy to plan events, and being as though this was the first and no pressure, you had to, make sure that it was good. And so it was amazing. I had a blast. It was good to see people that I knew. I ran into a lot of our mentors were there. And some of our really great supporters. So it was wonderful. I can't.
We appreciate it. I mean, it feels like a year ago almost. I mean, like but it's like 2 months ago.
2 months ago, yeah.
It's crazy, but no, it's just nice that people felt like, because that's what our old goal was, is to bring in this environment and introduce people to beer and all that. But anytime, like you said, as an event planner, you plan for the worst. Like you hope for the best and expect the worst or whatever. So that to have that come out the way that it did is super dope. So we appreciate y'all for being part of that. But tell us about Big Brothers and Big Sisters and the organization, how you guys, I guess the history, how you guys the history of the organization.
Who don't know, a brief overview and how you got involved.
All right, so we do this sometime. We'll do a little trivia for you and your listeners. So the founder of Big Brothers Big Sisters here in Pittsburgh was a big time car dealer, and it is not Cochran or Barrel.
Is it Day?
It is not Day.
No.
It rhymes with boss.
Kenny Ross?
Correct. Yeah. Good job. Ed Bailey for the win.
Wow.
Yeah. So, Kenny Ross.
Sound like a major league pitcher.
Kenny Ross.
He may have been. That's typically what baseball players do. They retire and get dealership.
Yeah, Kenny Ross.
That is true.
Kenny Ross is the founder. He'd actually been a little brother growing up himself in Philadelphia, and then moved to Pittsburgh. He started becoming successful in business, and back in '65, he started Big Brothers right here in Pittsburgh.
65?
65. We're 53 years old. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I knew the org was that. I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know Kenny Ross.
Yeah, so it started in '65. So in the first decade or so, it was just Big Brothers, and then the Big Sisters and Little Sisters came along in the '70s. Nancy Zappala, who's still involved with us in getting a really nice award in the nonprofit industry, she was the first Big Sister back in the '70s, and for the first 35 or so years, it was just the community-based program. And the community-based program is where if Ed is my big brother, he picks me up every other week at my house. We go out and we do all kinds of fun, good things together, and then he drops me off after about 3 or 4 hours. And for the first 35 or so years, that's all we did as an organization. For these last 18, we started doing a lot of school-based and site-based programs. So on a weekly basis now, we have volunteers going to be a middle school mentor sites. We have corporate workplace mentoring programs. We have college students that are involved. The nice thing, too, is that we have volunteers that are 18. We have volunteers that are 78. It really spans the gamut. And then these last now 5 years, we've started Mentor 2.0, which is specifically at Brashear High School. Okay. And that's the least time intensive. You write back and forth with your mentee on a secure platform every week. It's actually part of the classroom, and Devon, I'm sure, will tell you more about 2.0. But once a month, you get together from 5 to 7. So listeners of Drinking Partners, if you can go to happy hour once a month from 5 to 7, you can do Mentor 2.0. You've got clearances and background checks and all that good stuff too. But if you can go to happy hour time-wise.
You gotta throw that in there.
Yeah.
Time-wise, you can
not just anybody.
If you're not a total predator.
Like, then, you know if you qualify.
Yeah.
You got to be a nice human being with a good background. But the most important thing we always talk about is consistency, care, and concern. And it's really just showing up on a regular basis and really putting yourself out there and caring for this young person. Triple C's. That's right.
C's. That's what Rick Ross was rapping about. Consistency, care, concern. That's how you got 4 names in your title. That's a lot of information he had ready.
He's also a county councilman, so he's
all the C's.
He's all the C's. He's a C-ful person.
Yeah.
That's great. I didn't even know. I didn't know that much because I was part of the program growing up, and I had 2 big brothers, and I was part of the pick me up and then go somewhere and hang out or whatever, and it exposed me to so many different things that I would have never been exposed to, like spelunking and windsurfing and like all these crazy ass adventures and shit. Like the first the Oktoberfest festivals or whatever, I mean, and all these people celebrate and doing all these things, and I it was one of those things that like at the age between like 12 and like 16 that like when everybody else was like just wilding out and doing all kind of crazy shit in my neighborhood or whatever, I had some exposure to some different shit. So when I got to college, some of the shit that white people were on, I was like, oh, I know a little bit about that. Like, yeah, I mean, because
spelunking.
Spelunking. That was a thing. I would like, I had no fucking clue. So, and
is that like tobogganing? I still don't know what that is.
It's
what
like
is
you
that?
go, you crawl in caves. Like,
No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, you crawl
How
in
can
the
you,
caves
as a big brother, take a dude to crawl in caves? Is that within the guidelines?
Quick
of what y'all
sidebar: the
allow?
first time in my life I went spelunking, I literally showed up with $20, and me and my friends went, and I was like, "Well, where's our tour guide?" I thought it was like a cave tour. It's really scary.
That's a sanctioned Big Brother, Big Sister.
Well, no, I guess it was a little safer with they did.
It was a tour. We went on like a tour. It was like a whole
I was about to say,
we didn't just randomly
You
like,
telling
yo,
on
let's
your
find.
friends. You telling on your big brother like.
No, this was like a we had a tour and a guide, and it was a whole like.
That's what I thought it was when I was going. Yeah. I went geocaching for the first time last year. That was pretty wild with my little brother. That was pretty fun.
Geocaching.
Yeah, it was neat. He actually was throwing the caches though back into the woods, so we messed up the game for everyone else.
You gotta
I didn't know either. They're like, why didn't you tell them not to do that? I was like, I didn't.
Yeah, but
really
what the fuck
it.
is geocaching?
Geocaching?
Yeah.
You have to find these little caches, and it's like it's almost like a little mystery tour. You're like out in the woods, and you like have these little machines, and you have to go find things. It was really fun. The bigs and littles loved it. We do a lot of neat, cool stuff together, kind of like Day was saying, and that's the goal of the program is really to have these fun, joint experiences together.
Yeah, I think the experiences are, what really makes the opportunity for mentoring like come to life, because I mentor myself, and the things that I've gotten to do with my mentees like are things that I've never done before. I remember taking my a group of kids to the Pirates game, and we were in the Pirates charity suites, and I've never been in a suite at a professional sporting event before, so I was geeking out just as much as the kids were. I mean, they loved it. And I took one of my mentees to her first Steelers game before, and had been to preseason games before. We went to a regular season game, and it was the coolest thing. We had really, really good seats. Tickets were donated. And that's the best part about being a mentor sometimes, is you can't afford to do all these things, but we get tons and tons of tickets donated.
My first time was in the suite was at Big Brothers and Big Sisters. You know what I mean? That's crazy.
The sports opportunity is incredible. You actually get a membership to the YMCA of your choice, too, for big and little to join the Y of your choice,
That's
which
why
is
we
really
were playing
nice.
a lot of, we played racquetball.
Which is cool.
We used to play a lot of racquetball.
Racquetball's a good time. So Steelers, free Steelers tickets. We get so many preseason games, and for a lot of our littles, their first ever Steelers experience is a preseason game. But when you're 8 years old, a preseason game still feels like the coolest, neatest thing you've ever been to.
It's not the TV. Right. That's what really matters.
And Penguins, getting to go to your first Penguins game, and Pirates games. We have a partnership with the Clint Seymour Play Ball Fund, and kids get to go on the field with their bigs before the game and meet a player, which is really neat. So a lot of just incredible. Actually, this last January, we were playing wiffle ball with Neil Walker, who was from the Pirates, then played for the Yankees this year. Got to do a Clemente Museum tour with Neil Walker too that weekend. It was just wonderful. So I should mention, it's not just sports tickets though. We do get theater tickets, bigs and littles. We had 15 big sisters and their little sisters go to Taylor Swift on the floor for free this summer. So that's an incredible opportunity. Those are like,
I would even do that. I don't even know. I don't know one Taylor Swift song, but I'll be out there.
Yeah. It was
I won't, but I mean that's dope.
It's a neat opportunity, and shows too, all kinds of good stuff, which is really neat, and museums and all kinds of good things.
So you made mention of stigma, and the stigma of, can I afford to be, a big brother or big sister? If you want to just kind of expand on that, and then also the time commitment, because I noticed. So in college, we did some programming with Big Brother, Big Sister, and at the time, I thought these were just collegiate events that we were doing with my fraternity. I didn't know that the program itself had expanded beyond, again, just to pick up and take out for an event. Because a lot of people, outside of just the money, is like, well, do I have the time to dedicate, to commit, to go pick somebody up for 3-4 hours, take us somewhere each month? Where now you have all of these events where you can, be a part of it in that way. Yeah,
absolutely. So a lot of times when you're looking at volunteer opportunities and you want to give back, the two things that you probably think of right away are, do I have the time to do it? And is there a financial commitment to it? And the good thing about Big Brothers Big Sisters and most mentoring agencies in the city you don't have to, spend your own money if you don't need to, although there is a low cost, no cost. So we do say that there may be some cost involved. You might get free tickets to a Penguins game or to Heinz Hall to see the symphony play, but you may have to pay for your parking, or you may take your mentee or your little out to dinner or lunch or something like that.
That I love transparency, because that's some common sense shit. You should just think that, but like when an organization says, listen, man, let me just lay it all the way out for you. So just in case, we don't get into these like, little misinformation or I'm like, oh, well, you didn't tell me that. Like, cause it just seems like common
people
sense.
Love to play ignorant when they ain't got it.
Yeah, it's a
the I ain't got it ignorance. That's something that transcends all. And you be sitting at the table, I ain't even I ain't even got it. But you ain't say we was gonna be doing that. Yeah. Well, you want me to go toboggan and get him lunch?
It's a lot to ask. It is.
I thought he was gonna eat before he got here.
Yeah. But I think it's interesting because, like, I think of like, so like dating like if you were going on a date, like you would have to like pay for things on a date, and you don't always have to pay for things on a date. You could be creative, and I think being a mentor is all about using your creative skills. Like you could do something fun. One of the I took my mentee once furniture shopping to me. So I was moving into a new apartment, and her mom was like, come pick this girl up. She is getting on my nerves. And so I picked her up and I took her furniture shopping to me. We went to Bob's Furniture, and they have like sweets and dessert bars. So they have like free ice cream and candy and stuff like that. So I took her with me, and my mentee was like 16 at the time. And I just needed to go furniture shopping, and it was just having companionship with me while I did it. But when I went back and we were talking about some of the outings that we did and what was some of her favorite experiences that we had together, she mentioned furniture shopping, and the couch that she picked out was the couch that I actually ended up buying. And for her, that meant everything.
I mean, those are life skills. You see what I'm saying? Absolutely. Like that's a real, like that's an experience that like kids need. I mean, that's a life skilling build. Like going out and picking out a couch, like there's a lot of shit that's involved with that. That's not an easy decision. You know what I mean? You got to figure your budget. You got to, you know what I mean? Like there's so many things. So like, and I feel like, especially at that age, that's kind of like when you start getting interested in shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? Especially like, around there, it's like, oh, well, my first apartment's going to be like this. You start having those, I can't wait to get out and like, da-da-da-da. So like something like that, it makes, I would imagine, made her feel like an adult. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, I think just being a part of decision making. I mean, how many times do you think when you were a kid did your parent ask for your opinion on the couch that they bought or the new curtains?
I'm going to say hard zero.
Yeah. They're like, hey, do you think we should get this curtain, to match the couch? They're not going to ask you for your opinion.
It's like, you like it, don't you?
Absolutely.
Couch, you talking about the living room couch. Bedroom furniture wasn't even up for discussion.
You going to get this car bed, and you going to like this car bed.
You like that, don't you?
At some point, I got older. She knew I was going to be going to college. My bedroom, it was a day bed. It was like, so we just, this whole full mattress shit. Pause. Nah, bro, this is okay, yes, pause that. Appreciate that. Appreciate you catching me slipping on that. But I think that authentic experience, how often so I would imagine you would hope that with all bigs and littles, they would have that authentic experience. I mean, just to, how involved are the parents? Because for that parent to reach out to you and say, hey, look, she needs to get out of the house, and I trust that you would provide her with an experience. Just take her anywhere. Take her to your apartment. I don't care. Just
and even that, to have to call somebody, like, I mean, you clearly in a relationship in crisis, like kind of mode or whatever, like, I mean, like to call you of people, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I still remember back, my little brother that's now 27, he was 10 when we got matched, and still one of my best friends in this world. He's the godfather to our daughter and just one of the best people I've ever met in my life. But when Preston was 10, I still remember he lived with his mom, grandmom, aunt, sister, and female cousin. And I remember a night specifically, his mom was like she called, kind of like the Devon story, and she called and she's like, he just needs to get out of here. He just needs some guy time. I remember picking him up that night, and I was like, you all right? Like, everything okay? And he was like, yeah. I just need to hang out. And we played Madden for a couple hours, and then just dropped him off, and he was all good. And that sometimes you just need a little time away from your family, and that's in a positive way. The families have to want to do it. In all three of our core programs, the families have to want to get the kids involved in Big Brothers Big Sisters, and on the flip side, the kids have to want to do it too. So we're not looking for them to say, yes, I look to aspire to have better grades grades and better social skills and better self-esteem, but we at least want them to say, like, hanging out with an older friend that I can do fun stuff with, that sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking for out of the littles, but it's completely voluntary on both sides. No one's mandated to be a big, no one's mandated to be a little or to sign up their kids.
The program that I worked in, it was called SNAP, Stop Now and Plan, or whatever, Holy Family. One of the requirements was that the parents had to, like, it was basically impulse control. I mean, like, and you know, it was in order for the kids to be in this program. It was light counseling. It got up to near wraparound services or whatever. We'd spend some time in the school if need be, some time in the home if need be, and then there was a mandatory, like, you know, few hours a week that they had to come in and, like, you know, some activities and whatnot. But part of that, like, the parents also had to come in and have the same, you know, time, like, throughout the week, and that was by far, in my 10 years of social services, the most effective, like, program that we had, because one, we were reaching them 6 to 11 years old. I mean, so we reached them at a younger age, and two, because the parents were involved and we were giving them the skills as well. Because again, like, parenting doesn't come with a handbook. You see what I'm saying? Like, so, like, you know, and oftentimes whenever you have a kid and you're working on some of these issues, if you're going to send them back into the same environment that, like, bred some of these issues, then it's just going to happen again or whatever. So that dedication by the parent to say, hey, like, this is something that, like, I want to be involved in, I feel has so much of an effect, as opposed to, like, you know what, you just go ahead and deal with that, I'm going to keep doing my own thing or whatever over here. Like, I feel like that has to have, you know, be part of the reason why this is such a successful program.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all about, at the end of the day, it's about the child. So I always use the analogy of a puzzle. So if you're putting together a jigsaw puzzle and there's one piece missing, you know, you can't complete that puzzle until you get that last piece. And mentoring is very much like that. You know, these adults are not volunteering their time to just come be free babysitters and take your children off your hands when they're getting on your nerves. You know, you really do have to be a part. Yeah, fair. But you really do have to be a part of the process and the experience. And they said it takes a village to raise a child. And it really much, you know, mentoring is that component where this, you know, volunteer adult comes in, spends quality time with your child. And not to say that you're a bad parent and that you can't do it on your own. You know, a lot of the children that we work with come from single parent families, but it may be that there are one child in a family of 5 and that mom works multiple jobs to pay the bills, and that child is not getting a lot of one-on-one attention. And so having that adult come to the house, pick them up, or come to their school and spend time with them really does mean something.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask about this. So there's this misconception, or there are probably several, but I know, like, when I was in college and we were recruiting for, you know, hey, you know, look into this program, et cetera. I remember I talked to this one lady and she was like, well, why would I do that? He has a father. And it was just like, what do you mean? Like, it doesn't, you know, being a part of this program doesn't mean that there's an issue at home. It's there's supposed to be value added to. And so how do you run into a situation where people are apprehensive to participate in the program because of the stigma it may put on their family?
Yeah, I mean, I think, so you go back to saying that, you know, people may feel like, oh, like, just take my child in and take them away and go, and it really is a partnership, so you're working with that family. No, some of the kids may have a 2-parent home. Maybe the mom got remarried and has a stepfather in the family. And so, yeah, they have both of their parents. Maybe they don't need this extra person to come in. But there is, like I said, that one-on-one attention is really what matters. And you don't always get that as a child. You may also have, you know, some issues or things going on at school. Maybe you're new to the school environment, and being in a program like this could really be beneficial to have someone sit down that you can talk to and that you can say, hey, having a really hard day today. And we can't always talk to our parents about the things that we're experiencing. So if we have this other adult who we can kind of vibe with, that we can kind of connect with, that I can say, like, actually having a really crazy day at school, like, kids are teasing me and, you know, bothering me or things like that. So you have that extra person to talk to. And I think a lot of times volunteers go in with expectations, and I think you can't do that as mentors. So you can't go in saying this experience is going to be just like this and it's going to be by the book, because you don't know what's going to happen sometimes, and you don't know, like, you're going to get thrown for a loop, just like if you were a parent. Like, you can, there's no, like, on point guidebook to being a parent. There's no there's no guidebook to any relationship.
I mean, whether you're a friend, whether business, professional, whatever, like, I mean, like, you can't, like, when you go into with a set expectation of whatever it is, like, you got to be malleable. You kind of got to be open to some, like, bumps in the road or whatever. I know I wasn't the most, like, I mean, always the bright shining, like, little brother. I mean, when I was in the program, because I'm an angry motherfucker sometimes. I mean, if you like follow me on Twitter or any of the social medias or whatever, like, a very ranty, like, I mean,
There's free day Bracy day, right?
Yeah, like,
get your own day. Yeah.
Reason.
so like, I mean, and my big brother at the time, like, there was those times where, like, he, so I mean, I guess, like you said, I mean, you can't just go in and be like, oh, we're just going to always hang out and eat ice cream.
It's right. It's not always perfect, and we do provide support. So, first of all, when we're making matches, when we're getting to know the bigs, getting to know the littles, it really is strategic. Before I started working here 10 years ago, I'd already been a Big Brother. I figured, like, organizations like ours just literally pulled, like, two names out of a hat and said, Ed and Dave, they can be together. Because whatever. But it really is strategic. It's based on shared interest, background, neighborhood. We want to make sure the bigs and littles live within roughly 15 minutes or so of each other, so that it's a little bit closer for the bigs to get to them. That's definitely an important thing. And then after you get matched, you have a match support specialist. Within all the programs, there's always support there. So in the community-based program, you have somebody that calls you, that calls your little, that calls their mom or their family once a month. And it's not just to check in, but it's really just to, like, talk to you about how things are going. It's to see if they can help you with any issues. Even as a longtime big, there was been a couple times where I, like, really needed the help of my match support specialist. Same things at our school-based programs where we have our site coordinators there. We have our Mentor 2.0 coordinators there at Brashear, and they're there specifically to help the big and little form this good relationship. But if anything ever seems off, you're not just on your own. You're not on an island as a big. There's always somebody from our team there as well to help guide you and support you.
Yeah, I mean, the program going in, there was, like, this whole conversation, and then, like, and we got to, like, I got to choose, like, before it happened, like I got to meet.
Yeah, it's not forced on you. Like, they explain it a little bit. Like the big gets called first, and they say, we've got this little, he's 10 or she's 11, and this is a little bit about him or her. This is roughly what neighborhood they live in, and then from there you can say yes or no. 90+% of the time, bigs do say yes, and then the vice versa happens, and we called the family and talk to them a little bit, and then the family has the choice whether or not they want to make the match. So there really is that buy-in from both sides that this is going to be a good fit.
Yeah, because the first one first brother that I got was, like, stiff as shit, like, and, like, I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna work, bruh. And,
you broke up with your big?
The first one, yeah. The first one, like, yeah.
How was that conversation? Like, hey, listen, man, it's not you, it's me.
Yeah.
I'm an angry dude.
Yeah. Like, he's a little too straight-laced. Like,
we do have some rematches that end up being good. Sometimes maybe the big moves or the little moves are just not exactly the right fit. So rematches can be really successful as well within all three programs, truthfully, when somebody comes along. And I will say for my littles, they literally could not be more different than each other, but it's just worked with each one of them, and they're really different in almost every way. But I'll tell you what, this last summer, Preston came out. He became the godfather to our daughter. I got to see EJ walk his mom down the aisle, the same thing that I did 20 years ago with my mom back when I was in high school, which was really cool to be at that wedding and be a part of it. And then my middle little brother, E-Robs, got to see him join Devon's crew and be an AmeriCorps alumni. And Devon and I actually both were there that night when he graduated from AmeriCorps. So really proud of them in three different ways. And I'll say two of them have already done AmeriCorps, which is something that's always been on my bucket list and never accomplished. So they're more impressive than we are sometimes.
So I guess talk more about it, because, like, I'm still very much involved with my big brother. I mean, like, I went to his wedding and, like, saw his kid, born the whole nine, and did the whole, like, shower, whatever. Like, we're very much still, like, here we are, like, 20 years later. So it was like, it was
Ed, did you know that about Tay?
No, I did not know he was involved with the Big Brother.
That's awesome. That's great.
I mean, you would hope that I knew he was a part of the program, so it was almost assumed that, but I never asked him about it.
Okay.
Like,
that's really cool.
But that's what we hope for.
You're the success story, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was like, because it was crazy, because the first time we, like, hung out or whatever, we went into this arcade or whatever, and, like I ate all the candy and shit, and then I ended up, like on the ride home, like, puking up all this, like,
almost lost him.
It was all the nerds.
You almost lost him.
Yeah, I was like, I'm puking up nerds, like, on
not
the
the
side.
first,
Like,
not the last on that one.
I'm on 376, like, and I'm like, ugh. And then, like, I rolled down the window and I just puked, like, this fucking rainbow of nerds on the side of his car. And like I'm sitting there thinking like, yeah, this is the last time we gonna hang out.
He's not showing up in 2 weeks, but
Yeah,
he did.
well,
when
he
you're-
did.
You
And
an
he kept-
adult now. It's partially his fault too. Like he should have.
He probably shouldn't have stuffed me with nerds.
Exactly.
Like, me,
He was
but
a learning experience for him. He had to learn too.
But like that was like it was a bonding because I was like, oh shit, he's never going back. And he did, and it was like, oh shit, well then I guess he really rocks with me, and then it became this relationship, and here we are, later. So I guess speak to that. I guess because you're saying like you've had multiple like littles and whatnot, and like I guess some of that and what. I guess what you gain as a mentor for them, because it's never a one-way street. Like a relationship is there's no such thing as altruism. I mean, I don't believe in that. Like I believe that you might do things that may be a bit more beneficial on one side than it is the other, but usually you get something out of that, even if it's a feeling or whatever. So I guess talk to that about like the long-lasting relationships and what you as a mentor get out of it.
I think you get so much out of it. And just graduating college back in 2002, I always tell the story that I literally opened up a phone book, and for people that are now 22 and 23, they're like, what's a phone book? But I opened up a phone book and I called up Big Brothers, Big Sisters. And to be honest, it was partly I just graduated from college and I was kind of sad. I'd been involved in everything on campus and I wanted to keep that momentum going of doing positive things and being involved with stuff. And it was really Big Brothers, Big Sisters that gave me, to be honest, as a young professional moving up in my career, but still very low on things, it gave me a little extra self-esteem, a little boost in my step to know that I was doing this positive thing, that I was part of this organization bigger than me, and that my goodness, there was this 10-year-old that was like excited and happy for me to come and pick him up at his house and hang out with him every other week and eat snacks together and play video games and do all kinds of good stuff. It does make you feel good as the volunteer. So I don't know if that's altruistic or not. It does make you feel good. And I will say this for your listeners too. Doing hiring at Big Brothers Big Sisters and even within the county and stuff, if we see that somebody is a big, it never hurts, right? When you're applying for jobs, it's never hurts for making connections and getting to know people in our region. So you meet a lot of nice people. We have a big brother named Matt Mentecki, who had a wonderful wedding this summer actually, but he said once that like there's just so many nice people at these things, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of the goal. We're kind of like this 1,500 plus littles, 1,500 family members, 1,500 bigs. We're like this little fraternity of friendship, co-ed fraternity of friendship. And that's really kind of what Big Brothers, Big Sisters is.
You say Aurochs has a little Big Brothers background?
What's that?
Aurochs Brewery has
Oh,
a little
yeah,
bit of
Aurochs.
background?
Yeah. So I know they're involved with you guys a little bit. And we're at Fresh Fest. Doug Foster, longtime Big Brothers with us. He's one of the oldest pictures. He's not quite Polaroid picture on our wall of fame of all of our bigs. But he got matched with Malachi. It's got to be like 9 years ago. And Malachi, I still remember when he was like 7 years old, and he came to a board of directors meeting, and he looked so nervous, but he did such a good job. I mean, think about that when you're 7 years old and you speak to this room full of 30 business people, and you just crush it. That's incredible. That builds self-esteem and speaking skills for the kids in our program as well too. So that's Doug's great, and we've had events over at Aurochs, and just a big fan of Doug and Amy and the whole family. They're great.
Yeah. Sometimes you think when you volunteer to be a mentor, that you're going to instill all this confidence and provide direction to this young person in their troubled life. And then you get in there and they do that for you sometimes. Mm-hmm. I on my Facebook timeline, it gives you what pops up of what happened like a year or so many years ago. And I posted a statement around this time last year of a conversation that I had with one of my mentees, that I was really going through a difficult time professionally in the organization that I worked for before, and things weren't going well. And she told me that she was that I was kind of mild sauce, and that she was going to help me be like hot sauce. Like she's like, you gotta you can't let people put you down. You can't let people tell you can't do something. You need to put that hot sauce on it. You put that hot sauce on it, Miss Devon. And I would look back at that comment. I was like, oh my gosh, how much that her instilling confidence at 14 years old, trying to help me and trying to support me through my situations. And I share a lot about my personal experiences to an extent with my mentees when they're going through things, if they're fighting in school, if they're having a rough time when it comes to boys and stuff like that. And I share my personal experiences, but what I gain from them is so much more than whatever I'm giving back.
So, I mean, I know everyone's different, all bigs and all littles are different, but what are some of the intrinsic qualities that you're looking for when someone comes and says, hey, I want to be a big in the Big Brother, Big Sister organization?
Also, can we have some of these Henny cakes?
I was trying to avoid that
hungry
because look, wifey gonna be mad. I come home with Henny on my breath. I'm supposed to be
I don't know if
putting
anybody
floorboards up.
I don't know if anybody's listening or knows what the hell's going on right now, but there's like Hennessy cupcakes.
Henny cupcakes
That
here on the table.
I've never been
and-
part of buying Henny,
and it's-
but I asked Devon how much to contribute, and she said, if you give me a 20, it'll be all good. So
Yeah, we
thanks, guys, for supporting us. And
In all
Devon
things
made these with her sister, I
libations
think. Or?
related, $20 is always apropos.
we take shots of Henny, and we also take shots of
Take
Henny
Henny cupcakes.
in cupcakes.
And we just want to thank you for this. This is actually really awesome. This is actually a function of you listening to the podcast, which is more valuable than just the Henny cupcakes. Although I will enjoy this more. But
Who made these?
So my sister went to baking and pastry school, and this is her passion. She does this on the side, and I told her, "Hey, I'm going on the Drinking Partners podcast, and they love Henny." And so I was like, "Can you make a Hennessy cupcake?" And she was like, "Sure can."
She sure the fuck did. This
and
is
she did yesterday.
delicious.
She
this
put,
is that last little bit of Henny when you got it in the glass. That last little bit that you like, I shouldn't, but I have to.
we going to anyway.
Oh, she killing the game with this.
Oh yeah.
So shout outs to my sister Tiffany and Cakes by Tiffany because she's a boss.
Shout her out. Shout out Cakes by
Hell
Tiffany.
yeah.
She got
Cakes
the
by
DP
Tiffany.
endorsement. She got the DP endorsement.
Hell yeah, you don't bring us Henny cake and don't get a shout out.
Speaking of, the groups, like there are a lot of opportunities to have fun within Big Brothers Big Sisters too. So obviously, when you're through little, you're not drinking nothing like that. But like if you join our young professional board, if people that are on our board of directors, people that are on our recruitment board, we go and are at so many fun, positive events in the city. We go to a lot of fun, positive events too, just to recruit kids. Tomorrow we'll be actually up here at Alec, which is right down the street from where you guys record with the Brashear Association at the Allentown Learning and Engagement Center. So they're having a Halloween party. So part of what Devon and I do is recruit kids to get involved with the program. This whole street that you guys record on Warrington Avenue has been an incredible partner to us over the years. And through these relationships, we've been able to get a lot more kids up here involved. We had a partnership in Hazelwood before that. So we're really always trying to proactively recruit kids to get involved with the program as well. So if you have any listeners that have kids, nieces, nephews, grandkids that are in that 6 to 13-year-old range and think that they would benefit from the program, it's always a little bit easier to get girls involved in the program because Devon's gender is more prolific than our gender, unfortunately, at volunteering. But we have more women that get involved as volunteers. And to Ed's question, yep.
We gotta
Man,
step it up.
step your fucking game up, man. Stop being trash, man. Volunteer. Do some shit.
I always say so one of our biggest needs, two of our biggest needs are men and people of color. And a lot of times what happens, especially with men, is that you get you get so many men that are involved in so many different ways. They're coaches of Little League sports teams. They work with youth in their churches. They, just take kids in the community and spend quality time with them. And that is their contribution, that is their way. But when you have structured mentoring programs like Big Brothers Big Sisters, we really hurt in the area of men volunteering. And we get so many moms who want a positive male role model in their son's life. And so you get, on our waiting list, we have 200 plus children on our waiting list, and a good percentage of them are boys.
So that takes me back to the question before we kind of diverted. What sort of qualities are you looking for from BBBS from potential volunteers?
Yeah, so we do in a pretty extensive vetting process of our bigs. So we do have an in-person interview where we ask you different questions about who you are as a person, what your experience was like growing up, just to kind of get an idea for what type of child might be best for you. We also ask for preferences. So if you have a hard time working with or dealing with or interacting with a child who has ADHD or, maybe has some behavior issues, we're not going to match you with a child that has those types of circumstances. Yeah. And it doesn't mean that they're unmatchable children. It's just that you as a volunteer may not be able to handle everything. And that's just the reality of it all. But then we also do clearance checks. So we do child abuse, FBI fingerprints. We do a criminal background check. We do reference checks. So if you're married, we may call your wife or your husband, or a significant other, a close friend, just to kind of get an idea of who you are as a person. And then we take like interests. So if you really love sports, or if you really love cultural or arts, we try to take all these different factors into play. So there's no one that's unable to be a mentor. I think it's just you have to know that this is something that you desire to do. There has to be a willingness to mentor, and then we take kind of the rest of the things into play
and match it. Do you traffic tickets? Y'all check for that?
We do driving history. We do driving history.
And no DUIs within 3 years.
Yeah, so there are some things.
I don't know what hurt people more, traffic lookups or credit. Like people be.
Yeah, I'm bad on both. Hold on. Hey, Buzzy, you want one of these Henny cakes? Yo, this fucking even the icing. See,
He's forcing this.
I'm not even a big icing, but like the like it's a perfect amount.
Is that
of
what
icing
a Hennessy is?
Versus
in the icing?
It's
I don't
both.
even.
It's both in the Hennessy's in the cake and in the icing.
It's a perfect like balance of icing and cake, and like even like the texture and all that, because sometimes it's too much icing.
It's a strong cupcake too.
Yeah,
not hard, not super soft to where it's like when you peel it, it fall apart.
Yeah, but
like,
it's got substance. It's a man.
It's really good.
It's gonna be another side hustle for Devon.
Well, promoting my sister is my side hustle.
I'm telling you, this is promotable shit.
She's
right
supportive
here.
in my life and all my adventures, so I have to support her as well.
Also, I just want to say, I feel like we need to get some of these vetting processes that the big brothers and big sisters have and apply that to the Catholic Church, because motherfuckers, y'all need. I haven't heard one bad thing about big brothers and big sisters the last 20 years.
Yeah, that is crazy. How have you all have maintained like a pristine?
Because they care. You heard what she just went. They don't do that shit with priests. They just be like, you like
they
God? All right. So
that's different. There's a different focus in that organization. It's a totally different end game.
Well, then we need the same end games. Let's do it for the children. Do it for the churn.
Oh, child safety is our number one priority as an organization.
Exactly, yes.
And I mean, that's the whole process of becoming.
That's never a bad thing. In fact, I don't think there's an organization on the planet that shouldn't be child safety first. Even if you own, like, if you own a brewery or whatever, child safety. Even if you say don't bring your motherfucking kids here and bring them to the bar and drink beer, that's child safety first. I think every organization should be child safety first.
What about a strip club?
That's child safety first. You don't want your kid next to all these titties and VDs and whatnot. Like, I mean,
but they
get the wrong squirt in the mouth. Like, bruh. Telling you.
We'll process a little more in depth off air. We don't want to sully Big Brother Big Sisters with our little ridiculous talk, but we'll talk about this.
I think they have the children in the best interest. I mean, at the strip club, because they ain't allowed in that motherfucker. And I think that's in the best interest of the children.
But so how do you handle like situations where something may not be appropriate between a big and a little?
Sure. So that's why you have a match board. So once a month, again, you get that call. They talk to you, the parent, and the little. So if anything seems off within those three different stories, that's where child safety comes into effect. That's where we're asking more questions. Devon works, and we work like 5 feet away from some of the most wonderful people in Pittsburgh who their role in life, and I always say this at training, their role in life is to make sure that you have a good, successful match that is built on child safety. So they ask those questions. They ask, just to make sure that things are going well. If things, for whatever reason, aren't going well, they do interventions. They talk to you. They really try to provide good suggestions as well. Mm-hmm. And that's how we help with that. Same thing with the school-based programs. Within the school-based programs, you don't talk outside of the school until you become site-based plus, but you generally just don't talk outside of the school, and that's to make sure that we keep it in the school, we keep it safe. We have staff there with you at all times. And I will say from a vetting perspective, we actually have a really, really, as a kid that grew up in Greenfield, this is a really cool program. Kids from Greenfield Elementary right now get to go to the FBI, and Devon actually works with that program and helps head it up. But kids from Greenfield Elementary go to the FBI and get mentored there by analysts, agents, people that work at the FBI, which is super
major
cool.
Y'all building feds?
Yeah, they have to swipe under the car. Yeah, I mean it's a pretty legit building, but the FBI agents and
don't match me with the feds. Don't match me.
But the whole point of this program, so the name of the program is called Bigs in Blue, and it's a newer initiative here in the city of Pittsburgh in which we are trying to bridge that gap between law enforcement agents and our youth. And we know that this is an issue right now.
I mean, that's important. I joke about like, no, don't do that, but that is something that needs to happen.
It's important. We want children to have a positive outlook on law enforcement agents, that they are really here to protect and serve us, to care for us, and they're not here to harm us or do bad in our lives. And sometimes we do have negative viewpoints as young people. We have negative viewpoints on police officers, and
some of them were trying to kill us, and disproportionately lock us up for the. Yeah, I mean, strange. So it's because I think that there is a need for community outreach from like the police department and whatnot, and you can't police an area that you don't know the citizen. I mean, like I remember growing up in Braddock or whatever, we knew the cops, like
coached the football team.
My mom was my dad was a cop. And my uncle was a firefighter, and so I had this relationship, but these were people that were in our neighborhood. So we growing up, at least for the first, 10 years or so, the cops that were around, we knew them. We had a relationship with them in some sense. And then I don't know what happened between, say, maybe 10 and in 10 years, but then all the cops became strangers. And I didn't know who the hell
and we don't want that, right?
Around.
As an organization, we want them to be in your lives. Commander Lando in Zone 5, who is the leader of his zone, he's the leader, and he's probably one of our most active and certainly one of our best advocates as a big. These Bigs in Blue programs have been good. We got Ross and Westview officers that go to Westview Elementary. We got a new program at McCandless that Devon heads up. The FBI one has certainly been great, and we're just really, Devon and I met with every police officer in Wilkinsburg recently, working with, I think, a mutual friend of all four of us, Mayor Marita Garrett, who I believe has been on your show, who's a wonderful person. Yeah. She had us over there, and we met with every police officer, and a couple of them signed up to be big. So we're just trying to, again, it's about friendships, and it's about getting together. My middle little brother, Eric, wasn't so sure about what he thought of law enforcement, and I grew up, my dad had me involved in Special Olympics since I was 6 years old, so I was always the chubby little dude at the end of the Special Olympic events handing out the Gatorade cups. That was kind of like what I was brought up on. So fast forward to when I was 30, I was on the state board for 6 years, so I would go to all these Special Olympic events, and law enforcement is one of the biggest supporters of Special Olympics. They're super involved. So E-Robs a couple years ago just wanted to start doing more 5Ks and running more races together, thought it'd be fun, and just started introducing them to the police chief, Scott Schubert, and different people that were leaders within law enforcement. And his thing was if you vouch for this guy, he must be all right enough, right? And that's how you build friendships, right? At least one person at a time, to show that, if that's Tom's friend, Scott Schubert, then he's an okay guy. I'll give him a shot. And through seeing people through programs like the ones that we're doing with Bigs in Blue, those are the kind of walls that we're trying to break down. And Devon's doing a good job with it. I mean, Brashear's its own thing, but obviously, the FBI program with Greenfield's been good, and even McCandless is going.
Yeah, so it's part of what I love about my job is that I'm never doing the same thing all the time. So my job is split into doing programming and doing recruitment and outreach. So I see both sides of the coin. So I interact with the students. I work with the mentors and trying to help them, build those connections with each other. And then I go out and then I tell people, you need to become a big, or your child can really benefit from, this program, because we have so many caring adults that want to be big brothers and big sisters. But the program, in both FBI and McCandless, the people who are involved in these programs want to engage and they want to connect with youth. And I think that is so important, because that's not the narrative that we hear in the media. Right. We don't hear, law enforcement agents really want to engage and be involved. And I commend a lot of the work that even the city of Pittsburgh police officers are doing, because they do have community engagement and resource officers that are in those units and are trying to connect with the community, and they're trying to do better, and they may not always succeed at that in our opinions. our viewpoints, but I think there's effort, and it really does start with effort.
We've been starting, even ice cream, right? Like, one thing about Big Brothers Big Sisters, food can lead to friendship, right?
That's just
it's leading
life.
to friendship right
Yeah.
here, but it can
Yeah.
lead to friendship in the matches. So Devon and Maggie and Abby and Lindsay, and Kayla and Kim, they've been doing these ice cream parties at Brashear, right? Like literally just bringing in the local police officers to like make Sundays with the kids from Brashear that are going through some real stuff. They're 15, 16, 17, 18 years old. Like they're going through some stuff, but like just sitting them around, eating ice cream together, putting sprinkles on ice cream together and talking about life.
Yeah.
That's how we're trying to break down these walls and make people friends and get along better.
Yeah, and it was so much more than that, because what we did at Brashear High School last school year is we had a police roundtable discussion. So we had a number of officers from Zone 6, which covers most of the areas in which the students come from, Brashear in the South. And they came and they sat around in a circle, and the kids, we used our ninth grade STEAM students, and they sat around in a circle, and we did 2 separate groups. We did one with girls and one with boys. And the kids went around and they talked about what have been your interactions with police officers? What have been your experiences like? And they just had a dialogue, just had a conversation. Oh, I had, never had a good experience with a police officer, or maybe I've never had one experience at all. And then after the students got to share, we had student facilitators, and then the officers got to share what their experiences like have been with the youth in the community and some of the issues. And then we try to combat some of those issues, and you need to hear my side of the story and I need to hear your side of the story. And then we had an ice cream party.
Right.
And then the ice cream.
Finishing it with food is actually like
Absolutely.
strategy.
That
Yeah.
breaking bread concept
Especially
really
ice
is
cream.
important.
I mean,
I think I actually got there that day right when the ice cream started, so I
Yeah.
missed all the really important stuff. But
Yeah.
it
Because-
is.
Well, the ice cream's important.
Yeah.
It is. It's a food that you can't unseason. You see what I'm
I
saying?
drove
Like,
Maggie and I drove the ice cream there. That's how, because we didn't want it to melt. That is actually true.
Yeah.
That's why I missed all the important stuff.
That's dope. Yeah, I mean, if you're splitting ice cream and having conversations, you're less likely to kill a motherfucker because he stole a pack of blunts, is what the message is there. I have a very love-hate relationship with cops. I fucking hate them, and I love to hate them. So, like, it's tough. I mean, there's a necessity, and I think there's a lot of good folks out
That's
there.
all
whatever.
hate. But it's
But it's
no
just
love.
it's tough. It's very tough. But I do think that like there's hope, and we need, and that's the thing. It's not going away. It's a needed service. We just need a lot more of those efforts. I think more of those efforts are heavily necessary.
And the title of that is what? Bigs in Blue?
Bigs and Blue.
No,
Bigs
that's
in Blue.
actually awesome. I mean, because to attest to what he said, like they used to be of the community, now they're no longer like of the community in which they serve. There's that lack of trust. We can build that from the ground up from these younger individuals, and so when they become the adults, become the inhabitants, become the property owners, become the taxpayers within that community, that relationship won't be as strained. So.
And one thing we always say is that we're only as good as our partnerships, right? So if
Yeah.
we're working with good partners, I mean, Devon and I spent an awesome evening with your fraternity about a month ago, Alpha Phi Alpha, and it was just a lot of fun. I mean, and I believe Big Brothers Big Sisters is the national partner of Alpha Phi Alpha, which is great. So within all of the work that we do, we're really just as good of our partners. So if it's law enforcement, if it's different fraternities and sororities, if it's colleges, we need these partners. If it's the YMCA, I still think back to 6 years ago, walking into a room with my friend Ken Soliday from the YMCA, and he was like, hey, like, would love to work together. What do you want to do? And I said, it was my dream. I was like, Ken, if we could have free memberships for all bigs and littles to go to the Y of their choice for free, they'd only go together. They wouldn't go on their own. They would go together. Like, do you think that'd be possible? And he was like, yeah. Like, do you need anything
you
else?
birthed that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was,
Wow.
He was like, what
Okay.
else do you,
Making
what else
an
do you need? And I was like,
impact.
yeah, right.
Making an impact.
But it was like one of those things-
CCAO over here.
It was one of those things where you're like, it was just so incredible. Like, you never go into a meeting in anything in life. Like, I don't care if you have a podcast, if you work in a nonprofit, if you're in business, you never go into anything and like it actually works out completely right. And that has been incredible. We do monthly sports days at the YMCA's, which has been awesome. Our holiday parties there. We do the wiffle ball game with Neil Walker there. We had our third annual 3-on-3 tournament this summer, which was a lot of fun. I was headed up. We should have you guys on the celebrity team next year, but I was one of the celebrity teams, and it was me, Ron Smiley from KDKA, Diaz from 92.9 FM, Quincy Swatson, I don't know if anyone knows Quincy, he's a good guy, and then a state rep. And then the other team was Marcus Robinson, and then the guy that just won the Emmy, Frizzy. Do you guys know Frizzy? He just won an Emmy for Mr. Rogers' song. And he can play basketball very well too. So yeah. But it was a lot of fun. So we try to do a lot of things to get the word out. We go to 21 Plus nights at Carnegie Science Center, Carnegie Museum. Children's Museum. So if there's listeners of Drinking Partners that have events that they plan, Fresh Fest was fantastic, right? Like the fact that we saw you guys at the City Paper event and then you invited Devon and I to have a table there, and Devon did a great job with it, that's a huge help, right? It's a free table. It's a chance to talk to hundreds of people. There were thousands there, but hundreds of people about what we do. Brian Burley, if you guys know Brian from Young Black Pittsburgh.
Young Black Pittsburgh, yeah.
Great human being, right?
Been on the podcast, yeah.
We did a joint mixer this summer with Brian Burley at Federal Galley.
Yeah,
and
he did.
About 60 people came. I think 30 plus signed up to be a big that night. Those are the kind of partnerships that can make a big difference for Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and we cherish those. We honor those. We're so thankful for those kind of relationships with the Brian Burleys of the world and people like you that are nice enough to have us on your shows and programs.
Oh shit! I mean, we just appreciate what you folks are doing out here because it's a much needed service. And again, I enjoy Allegheny County just in the fact that again, it is a very resource rich organization. A county. I've been drinking a lot of this Devil's Backbone.
I blame Devon and her sister on the cupcakes for you.
Those Henny cupcakes.
Throwing that little bit of Henny is in there.
That may have
that's gonna have me. I'm trying to hold it together.
You still have to fix up your house
I
when you get
still
home.
got like stuff to do. I'm about to fuck up some floorboards. I'm about to mess something up that I'm gonna end up having to pay for because I don't rent anymore. But
you could tell Ed has shit to do because he's kept it very.
Work to do. I wonder though. So how much of what you do with the organization is recruitment, as opposed to just enjoying or just investing in the actual organization? Because you do have to. It's weird. You do have to recruit, right? Like it's. You would think people just come out and just, hey, I'm looking for something like this, but you do have to recruit of sorts, and you got to find the right people while you're recruiting too. So how do you balance that?
So I'm never not working. I will say that. And reason why I say that is because we always have these formal events that I have to go to for work, and we are doing recruitment. But then I am just at the grocery store, or I am just having a conversation with a group of people, and I'm always talking about the importance of mentoring because it is so important to me. If you really take a moment to think of people who have invested in your life over time, and it could be, a teacher while you were in school. It could be somebody in the community that you really connected with. It could be even a family member, but we all have somebody in our lives who has been a mentor to us. And so when you really think about that and how important that was to you and how valuable it was to you, you really do have to think, what am I doing to give back to this next generation? Mm-hmm. These are our future leaders. They're going to be the presidents. They're going to be our doctors, our lawyers, our bankers. These are the people who, the children are the future. I believe the children.
She set you up for that one.
Yes.
Oh,
because I've been waiting to sing with you.
Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a chance. Shit to pride to make it easier. Let the children laugh.
I was waiting for this moment.
No, now come on, I'll do this whole thing.
I was waiting for that
get
moment to come.
Chocolate at the end of the
Drop the mic and walk out. But yeah, I mean, the children really are our future, and it's so cliche when you say it, but it's very, very true. Yes. And so if we're not investing in them now, then what are we doing?
It's funny. Somebody said, it's pointless to disagree with the children because eventually you're going to die and they're just going to do it anyway. You know what I mean?
That is such a wow.
Yeah, I mean,
so who you be talking to?
It's rough.
This shit be sounding so messed up. It'd be mad sensible, but it just sounds so terrible. Like
everybody would be like, "Oh, well, back in my day, that shit is dead, bro." And so will you be if you keep talking like that. Yeah, I mean,
this generation, they are determined. They will do whatever they want to do.
I'm so impressed by this next
could not care less what you think or how you feel about it. But I think that mentoring is so crucial. So when I go out and I'm talking to people, whether it's because I'm getting a paycheck to do it or because I just genuinely feel compelled to talk and have a conversation, I never miss a moment to speak to a man and not say, why are you not mentoring? Because there are so many boys who need a mentor.
We just got called out. I don't know if I'm past the background. I got a couple tickets in Allegheny County.
We'll work on you.
You got the tickets that you meant to contest, but you forgot.
Yeah.
And then you found the ticket in the glove box. You like, shit.
This is just money that I'm giving. Like, I could have won. I got a ticket and I had the receipt. Like, I printed out, I had the receipt. So I knew I was going to win this case. I had the receipt. I was ready and everything, and woke up 2 weeks later and found that shit. I was like, mother.
I got a ticket because I put one number off on the license plate. And I was like, I'm about to take this in. Because, you get proud when you about to go in and beat the system.
Oh, yes.
You like, shit, I'm about to wear my best suit.
First of all, I don't hesitate to write a letter to the city of Pittsburgh telling them how I'm not going to give them my money today.
Okay.
Like, I live on a residential parking street, and my sister was visiting me one day, and I have a parking pass, a visitor's pass, and I guess the person didn't see the visitor's pass, and so they wrote a ticket. I wrote a letter, and I was like, "What you're not gonna do is give my guest a ticket."
I need to write more letters, man. That same shit happened to me too. They ticketed my car, and I'm like, yo, you know this is my car. Like, how you going? You know what I mean? Like, and it was crazy because they gave me the ticket. They gave me what it was. No. What happened was they gave me a ticket. I had hit a deer. And it was just good enough so I could drive home. So I'm parked in front of and it's trash day. You're supposed to park on the other, or street cleaning day. You're supposed to park on the other side. But my car, half my car is gone because a deer hit it. So I didn't go out and start it up and turn around waiting for a motherfucker to come tow my shit. He gave me a ticket.
Ain't no compassion in that game.
So I took pictures and shit. I'm like, yo, I'm about to beat this motherfucker. And then I found it 2 weeks after the trial. Like, you mother. But I needed to write a letter is what I needed to do.
That's why they made computers so people stop writing letters, because letters work.
They
letters
do.
work.
They really do.
Get somebody dedicated enough to pen a letter.
I've written 3 letters to Easy Pass, and it's one every time. Just write the letter.
Yeah.
I don't give nobody.
Do you write a letter like a
type?
Or you type it?
I'll type it.
Because I don't want you to miss the word.
I don't want you to miss the words that I'm trying to tell you about how I feel with you.
You got to make sure they get the what you not gonna do.
Yeah.
What you not gonna do is give me a ticket today. Even with those parking towers, like I was on the south side and I went to literally got out of my car. The one tower wasn't working, so I was walking to the next tower. And in the time that I walked away, they gave me a ticket. And I said, no, not today. Because not today. Not today. I will give you my money
don't know.
when I'm wrong. But when I am not wrong, you are not getting my money.
You ain't know about my little in the hot sauce that she gave me out here.
I'm a big. I'm giving back to this city so much. What you not gonna do?
Do you know who I am?
What you not gonna do? I got a ticket across the street from my kid's daycare because it's downtown, and I guess you can't. So you can't park across the street from the daycare between 4 and 6 when everybody's picking up kids.
That's literally what I pick up every day.
Everybody's picking up kids for the daycare.
Yeah, how are you supposed to pick them up?
That Bright or something. They got like 6 of them down there.
Why would you put your daycare there knowing that?
Why would
you? No, but they got like 6 of them down there, and they're all. But there's nowhere downtown.
Can't park anywhere.
Nowhere downtown.
I'm like, it's raining. I'm not about to. I got two. I'm not about to be hovering like hauling 2. I could just park right.
Oh yeah,
no traffic.
Hell yeah, I throw those hazards on. I run in, and I'm like, look,
I do
where's
that.
she at?
It's just
like,
when
every
you
once in a
go
while you
in.
get a ticket. Yeah,
I was mad at my son because he pooped when I went in to get him, so I had to get. It was that extra change that we had to do.
I got you.
And it made me late to get back out and catch it. And I'm holding that for him. So when he get his first job, he gonna owe me $732 because that's how much that ticket's gonna be at the point that he has his job. So big fella, your
with
first
inflation,
check, your first check. You know that first
I'll
check.
go into that one ticket dad got down.
Coming to me.
So I mean, paperwork is terrible. Speaking of paperwork, paperwork's terrible. Like I did my little brother's first fast food ever this summer
that's awesome.
It took us. I bought pizza and wings for him and my friend Gina. It took like 3.5, 4 hours to do it. I thought it was gonna be like a 45-minute thing.
Now.
So it's so hard. And I will say for our staff at Brashear, the Devon works with Abby, Kayla, Kim, and Maggie. Like our staff at Brashear help with that fast food like crazy. Like they're a big part of that. And also even work permits, like the ability to work when you're young. Our staff are the ones that drive them to get those work permits, and that is hugely important to those kids to be able to work. To make money, but just also the leadership skills that you gain through that. So just like paperwork, like follow up on stuff like that is really, really vital within Brashear, and also just in general the programs that we do.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, you go ahead.
I just love the practical shit that y'all helping. Like again, you
Yeah.
get this idea of what the program is. You're like, all right, he's gonna take him go-kart racing, or she gonna take her daughter, the girl, to the hairdresser, some shit like that. But you don't even think about like helping someone with a FAFSA, doing all these.
It's
other
all.
things.
It's
Like,
a
this
combination of
practical
all
shit
of it,
that's
right?
happening.
Yeah. I don't think we talked much. We didn't go deep into the Mentor 2.0 program at Brashear, but that program really is valuable because it is the program we serve 9th through 12th graders at Brashear High School. And it is all college and life readiness prepared.
Oh,
so
man.
our mentors are going into the school and once a month and sitting down with their student, but once a week, they're communicating with them on a secured web platform. So it actually is, when we talked back about time commitment, is one of the least time and sensitive, time commitment
intensive.
frames.
Yeah, it's the least time intensive.
And so you do have the ability, if you are a mentor that, maybe you travel a lot for work and, you're out of town a lot. So while you're gone, you're writing to your student, checking in on them. Hey, how's it going? We're setting goals. We're talking about resume building, that type of thing, to prepare them to make that post-secondary decision, which a lot of schools don't have the capacity to do that.
Right.
So, when the counselors have 300 plus kids on their caseload and can't really focus on the one who just needs direction, or, the parent doesn't speak English and so they can't work through, FAFSA paperwork or college application, we do have staff on site that help with that process as well as the mentor. And I think that's really important because I know if I had that when I was in high school, I'd probably I feel like I'm doing great in life right now, but it took me a little longer to get here. And I think I would have got here a lot sooner had I had that support
It's been a good
system.
2018 for you for sure.
2018 has been
If you
my
guys
year,
follow her on Facebook, she wins like an award every week and a half. So almost as many awards as you guys do.
Yeah, I mean, didn't you just come from an award? I mean,
Yeah.
I heard
Friday was an award.
Woman of the Year now.
Yeah, I wish that would be wonderful. But no, I won the New Pittsburgh Courier Women of Excellence Award, and I was one of 49 women. There was 50 total women who won this award. But the award ceremony was last Friday at the Wyndham Grand downtown, and let's
Circle
talk
of
about
Courage
parking
Award.
again. That was rough, but
They ain't even ain't slide y'all a pass.
Sound like
You
that.
know, what you're
I
not gonna
parked
do
on the
is ticket me.
street,
I'm
so-
a woman of excellence. I'm a whoa. In his definition, I'm a whoa. I've been running through the six with him. Gotta do this.
I like that. That was good. That was good. But yeah, so it's been really exciting because nothing that I do is do I feel like I need to get an award for the work that I do because I'm just
But it's
doing what I
nice.
love.
Recognition.
But it is.
It's
It
nice
is
when somebody says,
amazing.
"Hey, we notice." Yeah,
It is, and I think so. Last week I ran into a good friend, Ime Alquiva, who is one of my
friend of the family.
heroes.
He's won an award or two. Today's his birth, as we're filming or as
Is
we're
it his
recording
birthday
today.
today?
I think is his
Yeah,
birthday.
His birthday today. But Ime, I ran into him and he was just like, "How do you like?" He like stood in front of me like in his very like all his like normal
he full of
Ime-ness,
energy.
and he like grabbed me and he was like, looked me right in my eyes. He was like, "How do you feel?" Like, and I was like, overwhelmed, Ime. This is a lot. And he was just like, you're a star. You shine bright, and you do these things, and that really like having that support system because nonprofit work is not easy to do, and you do spend, like I said, like I'm never not working. Like you do spend a great deal of time just because it's on my heart, and I feel compassionate about it. That it's always with me.
Yeah, success is so great. There's no, I mean, it's so it's objective. Yeah, I mean, so like you can't. There's no clear line of like again, business world. There's a bottom line, and like you're either making money or you're not making money. But like in social services and nonprofits or whatever, when you're healing people, like what is success? Like if I can get like somebody that's smoking crack every day to smoke crack once a week, that's fucking success for me. You see what I'm saying?
It's
Yeah,
changing
I mean,
the
like,
narrative,
yeah.
the circumstances for people, and I've made a lot of like stupid mistakes in life, growing up, and I wasn't always as motivated as I am now, but to be at this space and stage in my life, like I'm super grateful because I do think back to all the people who have invested in me, who have, poured into me, even when I was not really sure like how to handle that. But so many people have invested in me and having great friendships, even like, Tom and I are colleagues, but we were friends first,
yeah.
and that's what, I wouldn't be sitting here right now and surely wouldn't be working for Big Brothers Big Sisters if it wasn't for him, because he recognized you're really good at what you do and no shade to where you were, but come on over here. Like, I think that we can do something with you. And so that's something that I really do appreciate about this stage in my life.
That's huge. To feel appreciated by your employer, to feel appreciated in your work, and to really, and I listen to you too, and you live out your work. There's so many people who have jobs, and that's a total separate function of who they are. Like from 9 to 5, I am Ed Bailey, the whatever. You know what I mean? But then with you guys, it's like she's saying, I'm in a grocery store. I'm still representing the brother because I ain't getting paid for it now, but I'm paying it forward, you know, so that this child that comes in, you know, they're going to have somebody they can speak with. So I really do commend you too. And it's really a testament to the organization that the people within, I would imagine the employees or the people within all feel this way. Like, look, we live this work.
One of the, core beliefs of the organization that I founded and Devon is the board chair of, Get Involved, that both of you guys, Ed and Day, have been, they got an RX mug there. You guys have both done your comedic work at a Get Involved event with Krish and everyone back in the day. One of our beliefs is if you hit the lottery and you could do anything for the rest of your life just because you believed in it inherently so much, like you would do it if
even if it didn't pay. Yeah.
Right, correct. Yeah. And for young leaders in our region especially, we always tell them within Get Involved, like find a way to do that thing. Either do it as your profession or be on a board. Don't be bored in the city of Pittsburgh. Be on a board. Be on a board, a nonprofit board, a committee. Volunteer in some way. And Big Brothers Big Sisters is obviously, like, we're very biased. We think it's the best way to do it, but there are a lot of great organizations in our region. So I think for all of your listeners, either be with us with Big Brothers Big Sisters, but if you hear this podcast and we're not exactly your thing, do something today to help other people.
I mean, it like I said, there's no such thing as altruism, and you do get something out of that. I mean, like if you're, you know, like you said, I mean, whether it's a passion, art, or whatever, like volunteer, like getting out of the house, like if you're just 9 to 5 in it, and then coming home and watching TV, and then passing out, and then waking up and doing the same thing, rinse and repeat every day, and then you wait for the weekends to, like, you know, drink and do whatever and unwind Saturday and Sunday, and then you just do that, and you don't have anything like any. It's just routine. It gets endless. Like, this is something that'll break up. You'll get new experiences. You'll just be like, oh shit, it's something different, and it'll make you feel better about yourself. Yeah. It's crazy. And I'm like it's so easy to stay in where you're at, whatever routine you're in. Yeah, I mean, like it is tough to break routine. Yeah. I mean, like some people are listening to this podcast right now just because it's part of their routine.
Don't break that.
Yeah, don't break that. Keep that shit going. But you can play that, I mean, and on your way to go pick up your little. Don't play it while
don't
play
while you're
once you
or
pick him up.
Select episodes. Only certain episodes little appropriate. We don't want to get you jammed up with time.
Don't play us while the kids there. But like I said, I mean, just get out, like get like, especially in the wintertime. Like I suffer from seasonal depression. You know what I mean? Like, so the sun's out, it's gloomy as shit or whatever. Like, so like, you know, I gotta break up my routine because like I hibernate. Soon as the sun starts dropping at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, then I'm like, well, fuck it. I just get off work or whatever I'm doing, and I'll play video games, just sit in a dark room, and then wake up and then do whatever. And then that shit that, you know, so like something like this, something like a volunteer or any like you said, even if it's not this, just getting out will enhance your life. Yeah, you know what I mean,
and you never know who you're going to meet when you do it as well, which I think is really important because I volunteer in a lot of ways. Like before I was a mentor, you know, I took what I was good at. Like, so I'm good at event planning, and I volunteered for the Pittsburgh Marathon. And that was a really cool experience for me because I met so many different people. I volunteered for special events, like big events. If you're familiar with
Coro?
No. The football player, the guy who came to our event, who came to Service Summit.
Oh, Charlie Batch, Latasha.
Oh, yeah. So I volunteered for
Batch, best of the batch.
Yeah, sorry.
Batch be everywhere.
Oh
yeah. I volunteered for the
they
best
were there
of
on
the Batch
Friday at your
Foundation.
award thing too.
Yeah. I used to wrap gifts, so they give Christmas gifts out to families every year, and I went and I wrapped gifts for the Best of the Batch Foundation. So there's a lot of ways, like things that you can go to, events that you can go to for free, like you know, events that would be $100 or $200 ticket. I just volunteer my time for, and I get to go to these events and have a great time.
Hang coats, do whatever. Yeah, for free.
All the volunteers at Fresh Fest got Fresh Fest for free. Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
Like, you know,
and that made it the best time of my life.
It was a dope experience or whatever. And like I said, I mean, it'll even help your career and your personal life. Like you said, I mean, you meet dope people when you volunteer.
Absolutely.
You meet people, typically the people that you're volunteering with, they're doing something or whatever. They have their own lives or whatever. That might help your professional career. It'll help your personal career. They're typically good people.
Right.
They want to see people succeed. Maybe you are a person that like you're giving your time to help somebody else. You might meet somebody that can help you. You see what I'm saying? Like that's like you said, I mean, you were doing your thing or whatever, and by volunteering or whatever, you've enhanced your life or whatever. So I just if you're listening, like, I mean, I don't want you to think that people like to think that like volunteering or like, charity or whatever is just like a one-way street, and it's never that. It's never been that. I mean, and if you do get out there, especially, I mean, with the upcoming winter or whatever, you're looking for activity, just kind of get out of the house, just to kind of, whatever. This sounds like a golden opportunity.
Do what you love. Like, I think that's the most important part, and that's the biggest takeaway with volunteering is if you love doing something already, there has to be something out there, a way that you can volunteer. If you love animals, go walk dogs for the Animal Rescue League. If you love cooking, there are organizations that allow you to be able to cook meals for people who are in need. Those are all very important things.
Even you guys both performed at the Memorial Talent Showcase for my dad. Like, we had a talent show and you guys were at it, I believe. And like just doing that's where you got the certificate, I think. But we do that. That was to raise money for American Cancer Society. Like, you guys love being comedians, right? You love telling jokes. You love making people laugh. That's the thing you did that night and helped the charity. So,
oh man, drinking and talking shit for a good cause is my favorite thing of all time.
Yeah.
If somebody hits me up and is like, yo, we got like this cancer fundraiser like thing. We want you to come up and be funny, and there's going to be beer here. Why the fuck not? Like, what?
What is the loss in that?
even like you were part of
the
the MARTA podcast that raised money for Big Brothers Big Sisters, but you were one of the 6 judges or whatever for the MARTA match.
And I met so many good people while I was there. Like I was on a panel for Next Pittsburgh or whatever, and it was talking about community or whatever. I met so many good people. Like my career has been so enhanced from a lot of like Comtra Theater is the best comedy show in Pittsburgh, hands down, and I can say that confidently because I've been to a lot and we've done that. We've worked hard to build that, but that started because I met the owner at a charity event that I was emceeing at. We just happened to be at a table, and he was like, "Well, I got a theater. Like, why don't you come down and check it out?" And that's what happens. Like I said, when you're out helping other people, sometimes it ends up helping yourself.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I had my whole birthday party at Perlay just because I ran into somebody who came to it, get involved.
Pete Landis.
And I was like, hey, it's my birthday and I'm trying to figure out what to do. And he was just like, come down to Perlay. They're closed now, unfortunately, but he was like, come down to Perlay, I'll give you a VIP section. And he brought over a bottle of wine, and it was like a good time. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy.
Just because you met him, get involved.
I'm going to get involved more often.
That little instant karma. I mean.
Yeah, so I mean, we're having a great time. We got to wrap this up though. So we discussed the takeaway. So let the people know how they can get involved if they're interested in getting involved, and then if they need to get in contact with you, how they can do so. Yeah.
So if you feel like you want to be a big brother or a big sister, there are plenty of kids that are waiting for Bigs. You can find us on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, but you can also go to our website at BBBS, 3 B's and an S, PGH.org. That's how I remember it. I have to spell that out in my email all the time. 3 B's and an S, PGH.org. That is our website. Go on and check it out. You can fill out an inquiry if you want to be a big, or just come to an event, or come to something and talk to one of us. Between Tom and I, we are always out and about in the community doing something somewhere. So if you run into any of us, more than happy to help you on the journey. But we are definitely in need of bigs. I know for our Mentor 2.0 program at Brashear, we're looking for 30 men. We have a bunch of freshmen that are in need of bigs. So we're always definitely in need of people to volunteer their services.
Yeah. Arsenal Middle School, pretty close by. We need 3 women there, though. So it really is both genders that we need to get involved, certainly. But the 30 men at Brashear is definitely important. People can feel free to email us, too. I'm an easy name like Dave Bracey or Ed Bailey. I'm Tom Baker at bbbspgh.org, 412-204-1217. And Devon's last name is much harder.
He did.
What's that?
He did.
Mike Jones.
Mike Jones. I just realized that Mike Will made it as an actual person too. So.
Just learning things every day.
I learned that like 2 months ago. Yeah,
Yo,
I
who
tried
didn't
it.
call Mike Jones?
Mike Jones.
So, and just quickly, I mean, because like sometimes people maybe like won't make that effort on their own or whatever. But like, do you ever have like events where just kind of, I don't know what the term is, but like where folks just like kind of get together and you can kind of all come together like a fundraising event or not or
An informational?
Yeah, like information, like people get together, you're serving like cakes and type things, and
we
like
have
people can kind of.
events. Yeah, so we have recruitment events all the time. Tom and I actually did a series of recruitment events this summer at a lot of brewing companies.
Yeah,
actually,
there's
which was pretty
at
cool.
Aurochs.
But
There was one with Brian Burley, the Fed Galley one. We did one with Brentwood. We did one with Pump, which was pretty cool as one of the larger young professional groups. So we'll do another summer mixer series next summer, I'm sure. And I will say this too, like for an info session, if you work at a company, if you're involved with a civic organization, you're in a Rotary Club, whatever, fraternity, just invite us out there. We will come. We will speak at 6 a.m. We'll speak at 9 o'clock at night, and just let us know. Actually, if it's after my baby goes to bed, that's even better. So Devon and I, when we did Alpha Phi Alpha, I appreciate that it was after the baby went to bed. So, so if you have a meeting going on, you want us to come to it, please definitely let us know. But we're always happy too to talk to folks. We actually had a man in his 60s or 70s that was interested in getting involved. So he didn't want Devon's story or my story. He wanted to talk to somebody that was a little bit older and involved in the program. So Miss Nancy's our big of the year in Pennsylvania, and she talked to him about the program, and she's in her 60s, and it was a really good fit. So we have people that can talk to you about what the program is actually like from the volunteer perspective. Certainly. And
is this a nationwide organization?
Nationwide.
Yeah.
So
over,
like
if you're listening, because I mean we got a couple folks that listen outside of Pittsburgh. If they're outside of Pittsburgh, is it the same? All the same places to find, like say the national chapters?
The national website.
Yeah, I mean, I think if wherever you are, I mean, Google Big Brothers Big Sisters and a city. If you live in Kansas City, Big Brothers Big Sisters Kansas City.
Google it.
Just get on the internet. I mean, that's really the easiest thing to do to be able to find any of us here.
It might even be faster, but if people want to email me too, like TB stands for Tom Baker, but it's True Believer. So if anyone in the country that listens to Drinking Partners wants to get hooked up with BBS, I'm honestly like 1,000% happy to like find our partners and our colleagues from across the country, the state and the country, and try to get you hooked up with them to volunteer there, because it really is a wonderful experience for bigs and littles. So there's there's about 20 in the state now, around 300 in the country, BBS organizations. For listeners of Drinking Partners that are in Washington or Greene counties potentially too, we do cover all 3 counties here. So we're all of Allegheny, Washington, and Greene. So while a lot of what we do is here in the city of Pittsburgh, it is all of Allegheny. It's all of Allegheny, Washington, and Greene.
Nice.
Okay. All right, Dave, let the people know where they can find us.
We are the Drinking Partners, and if you're looking for us, you can find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, Google Play, and Spotify under Drinking Partners. You can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnersPod.
Hey, we just want to, again, thank our guests, Tom and Devon, for coming out and just sharing your passion. You may have won over, you may have signed us up. We've been called to action. We saw the subtle call to action.
Devon called you guys out. And your producer,
we take
Buzzy.
heed, but honestly, the takeaway, man, do what you love. Find a way to give back. Find a way to invest in our future. And these children are our future. And we joked about how cliche that is, but that is the truth. And there's value in this organization outside of just, I'm going to volunteer. Like, you yourself will be enhanced. Yep. So fix your life. Get your life together. And as always, Drinking Partners is the crew. Epicast is the family. And we out here.